Yes, that's right, I did indeed close my car dealership. Now I'm going to explain to you exactly why I did it and what happened during the period of time that it was closed for, because people seem to think that you can just walk away from a small business and have a bit of time off, and it's absolutely not the case. I'm going to explain exactly what's gone wrong in this video. So good morning, good afternoon and good evening. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to my little used car dealership based up in West Yorkshire that I thought I could potentially take a little break away from and it wouldn't absolutely self-destruct. Well, I was wrong. We've had some serious problems this week whilst we've been away, and I'm going to explain exactly what's gone wrong, but also explain where I've been and what we've been doing, because we essentially closed the place down for 10 days to go away on a ridiculous trip, and I'll tell you more about that in this video as well. However, these are the problems that I faced when we closed it. So, first of all, we've got Auto Trader that we use to sell cars. Everybody uses it, and they've got a stupid system called Deal Builder whereby people can reserve cars whether you're in or whether you're not in. Now, I had an option when we closed down whether or not I was going to keep the cars live and for sale or whether or not I was actually going to pull all the adverts. Stupidly, I decided I was going to leave the cars live and for sale, and that's because it's been a bit quiet at the moment, and you'd be a bit stupid if you just take all your sales options down. We had 3 people reserve cars whilst I was away, and I was trying to liaise with them using the Auto Trader back office system at the same time, which I've got to use 2 phones for and a stupid login, and you need the right Wi-Fi for. Absolute nightmare. Anyway, they were just asking questions about cars but coming through the Deal Builder system rather than just ringing. So that was a bit of a nightmare, but that wasn't the big problems that we faced. I had 2 warranty claims turn up whilst I was away. Out of the 2, one isn't a problem. It's a guy called Will who bought an RS6 from us. Hi Will, if you're watching by the way, because he's a subscriber. He's got an issue with a water leak on his car. Took it to a garage. They've misdiagnosed the problem, fixed something that wasn't a problem. This is my thoughts now anyway. So we were trying to get him booked in somewhere, but whilst you're in France and Spain and Andorra and everywhere else where I've been, it was very difficult to do. That wasn't the problem. The big problem I've had is this. It's a Volvo XC90, which I sold around about 8 months ago to a customer. Now this car had a bit of an issue. Oh, there's a story on this one. First of all, there's no problems with this car. So we did a vehicle score check when we first bought it. There's no hidden history. There was no finance attached. Never been in an accident. All the usual sort of stuff. It scored really well at 999. So it was a good car in relation to history. The service history was perfect, etc. I made the stupid mistake of taking that car through a recall before we sold it, which I kind of had to do because it had a safety recall outstanding on it. So I could have sold it, but if it had set on fire randomly, which is what the recall was about, then I would have been liable for that. So I took it to Volvo for a recall, had it all done, and when we got it back, the dashboard lit up like a Christmas tree, which was fun. So it went back to Volvo, they sorted that out, and we then sold it to this customer based down in Wales. The following day, the dashboard lit up like a Christmas tree, so we had to arrange for it to go back into a main dealer and get that sorted out. And this is all on the back of a recall. Now, this leaves you a little bit wide open as a car dealer because you've essentially sold a car that's got a problem straight away. Fortunately, the guy that bought it was fairly chilled out about it, but the fact he was chilled out is what gave us the problem in the long run. Gave it a couple of months. Everything was fine on the car, and then he started talking about the fact that every now and again the handbrake warning light would come on. It would go away and then it'd come back again. So we had him in and out of a couple of different garages that he'd suggested he goes to, and they couldn't find the problem. They had an auto electrician at it and they couldn't find the problem, and all the while I'm paying for the diagnostics. Now, it got to a point where the customer started to get a little bit disgruntled, as you can understand. So what I decided to do was find a specialist through this kind of network that we've got based near him, which would sort out the problem. And my gut was telling me from the research that I'd done is that there was some sort of a problem with the wiring harness on the handbrake, bearing in mind that this car had had a repair on a wiring harness on a handbrake in the past when you look through the paperwork. So my little spidey senses were saying that was it. So about a month ago, I booked him into this specialist who had parts on the shelves. They were a Volvo place, so it's the place to go, and said, look, take it in there. They'll give you a courtesy car, which I will pay for, and let's just get it sorted and put to bed. I heard nothing back from the customer, and guess which week he decided to take it in? So one night we got back to one of the hotels and I had about 7 or 8 missed calls, some from the customer. In fact, there was 8 from the customer and there's several from the dealership as well, trying desperately to get in touch with me to sign off this job. Managed to ring them on top of a mountain the following day, got it signed off, but as a result of me sort of delaying the process, I ended up costing myself more courtesy car time. It's just, you try and do the right thing and it is just always rotten luck that stuff happens at the wrong times. So I've had that to deal with whilst I've been away. Also trying to deal with Will's RS6 as well, which we've now got booked into another place. So that's all sorted. And all the people that had gone through the deal builder situation that I'd responded to was just general inquiries. So I think what happened there is they potentially tried to ring, got on a broad tone, and also we'd set the voicemail up as we were away and ended up with problems there. So it's been a little bit of a nightmare. So we are back and we're at it, but last week was just the most crazy week of my life. So essentially we toured Europe. So if you're not aware, we kind of went through a process of trying to buy a supercar to take on tour through Europe. So there's a company called Automotive that were taking us on this tour, and we were desperately trying to find something that was going to work for it. So we had a Porsche 911 in here that we were thinking about using, but I knew there's going to be a load of Porsches on that tour, so we didn't want to sort of have a car that everybody else had, if that kind of makes sense. Then we looked at Jaguar F-Types, we looked at Audi R8s, we've even got a BMW E46 330ci in here, which actually bought us a raffle car. And I was looking at that going, that's potentially a perfect car for a road trip because it's fairly quick, it's certainly very comfortable, it's well built, it's a convertible, it does everything that you need it to do. However, because we're raffling it off and we've kind of said, you know, it's going to be this mileage, I didn't want to put thick end of 3,500 miles on that car going on tour, but I did think that would be perfect for it. By the way, that raffle is still live and there's a link in the description below. It's £1 a ticket and it's massively undersold, so your odds are rather good. However, what we ended up doing is we bought an Audi R8 V10 and we decided to fit a stupid exhaust to it, and we desperately tried to get it across the line in time. Now, if you're new to the channel, you won't know, but we did manage to finally cross the bridge with that car. We got it all put together and we did indeed set on tour last Friday. So you're going to like this. We are going to be putting together a full tour video for you, but essentially I just thought that this was going to be a lovely tour going to lots of different beautiful hotels, which we did, by the way. These are our images, by the way. These are the places that we stayed at. It was incredible and so well put together. But what I didn't realise is there was a certain expectation as to how well you could drive on tour, and it took a lot of getting used to. And if you don't understand me, I don't really get on very well with tech, and we're trying to film this and make it as beautiful as possible, at the same time using walkie-talkies, at the same time trying to drive like hooligans, and at the same time trying not to crash and die in a ball of fire. And I lost my marbles quite a few times on this tour, and I thought you might enjoy this little snippet of me trying to work a walkie-talkie at the speed of sound down a mountain following a Porsche 911 that was spitting up every bit of debris onto the front of my beautiful Audi R8. Can we nudge up the pack a little bit, please, away from Tom if possible? If we can get between the Alpine and the green Porsche, that would be amazing.
Well, where do you want to be?
Between the Alpine and the green Porsche would be good.
Oh no.
Can we get in front of the green Porsche, please?
At the next opportunity, can we get past the green Porsche, please? Thank you.
Stone chips for days on here. You stop me in the head, Ben.
Are we being received over? Slight problem with the radio. I think there's something wrong with this.
So as well thought out and well executed as this tour was, and it was fantastic by the way, the problem often is the case is the Yorkshire pieces of meat that are involved in everything. So the French, it would appear, have no sense of humour, and as desperately as we tried to be able to communicate properly with them, it would appear that our Yorkshire dull, dry sense of humour just wasn't very well received by the French, as you can see in some of these clips here.
Could I try this one? Just try it. Just yeah, no, don't like it. Yeah, I like it. This one, just a little. Yeah, just
Un petit sample.
Yeah, sample.
Yeah, un petit.
There, a little bit. Okay. Merci.
It's probably quite good. It's probably coming good. Is that really strong? Is that really strong?
Yeah.
The rouge bit.
What do you be nice now? 25 or 15?
Oh, come on.
Prefer to ask.
He's from Yorkshire.
Try.
Did you order? No. Nice. What happened to this one? Someone said good old swig. You didn't finish it?
I don't know.
You didn't fill it up, no?
Where's the rest of it?
Paul, he didn't have that, yeah.
No, I'm joking. I couldn't help it. That's it.
Now, on this tour, there was a lot of Southerners, and what they're essentially trying to do with Tano as a brand is come up north, and they want us to help with that, and I think genuinely there's certainly legs on that. However, there was a bit of a kind of divide with the humour initially, so as you well know, as Yorkshiremen, we like to be dry and I'd say incredibly witty, and the Southerners took a little bit of a while to warm to us, as you can see in this clip here. Sorry to be a pain, is there any way you can pull in for literally 2 seconds while I arrange my pole in an upright position?
I don't really know how to respond to that.
Well, you boys don't muck about, do you?
Yeah, you don't have to try and keep up with us, guys.
My incredibly tiny will not allow me to be left behind. I've got to apologise for that. Now, some of these hotels that we went to were nothing short of exquisite. Genuinely, like, I can't explain it to you. You'll see it on the video. It was just the most insane experience. Every single hotel was beautiful. The food was absolutely amazing, and everything was just perfect, pitch perfect. So Elliot, who arranges these tours, it just absolutely nailed it. However, it wasn't the only food that we ate on the trip. And we got scuppered a few times with some of the petrol stations, as you can see in this clip here. Let's have a dry sandwich. Look at the bread and that.
Ham and cheese.
Any sandwich that says mega on it from a service centre.
It's mega.
It's going to be So what's that? Pollet bacon fume.
Chicken bacon.
Sauce burger with burger sauce.
It looks moist.
It does look moist. Would you like some goms? Tim? Gom? Chewy. Chewy with sugar.
Yeah, why?
They're going to be horrible. Another day of service station food. Well, oh, grim.
Yeah.
Burger sauce in a wrap.
Tastes a bit cheesy.
Oh, rough. I knew they'd be rough.
Yeah, I think you probably should get back on those.
I'll give them to Clemmy.
What are these goms? So you've been into them already?
They're delicious. I'm just a bit full.
Oh, I see. Well, that is disgusting.
I've never had one of those. What dry delights have we got in store today?
Mine's dry as desert.
I reckon that'll have a bit of moisture in it, that one.
They taste of nothing.
They do. Polystyrene.
Absolutely nothing.
Mashed up chorizo and some sort of a sauce. However, I've got the drink of all drinks to wash it down with, which will be required.
That's a better drink to wash it down with.
Everywhere you go, the sandwiches are Who's buying them?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you reckon they do it just for tourists?
Yeah, the stores all turn up and went cheap sandwich shop.
Put them sandwiches out.
Yeah, yesterday's.
How's that going to stay in date for another 3 weeks?
So it's dry.
Yeah. Bacteria can't thrive in dry conditions.
Dry aged sandwich. That? No. No recommendo.
I'm assuming his car
Ow.
repair hasn't gone to...
Oh. The locals were incredible, and I know there was a bit of a language barrier, to say the least. For example, we don't speak French and we don't speak Spanish. And believe it or not everybody speaks English, so there's a few communication breakdowns, but as a rule, it just felt like Over there, a supercar or an exciting car, everybody gets really behind and they sort of cheer you on through the streets, and it felt like celebrity status. It was proper crazy, like seriously mad. But there were a few language barriers, to say the least, as you can see in this clip here. Thank you. Yeah? Okay. Thank you.
Yo, Moto Audi, yo.
Oh, yes.
Antique.
Old, yes.
Moto Audi.
Yeah. Very good.
The Montpellier.
Yes.
Audi Moto.
Nice.
NSU.
Nice.
Yo, Von Weber, yo. Luis. Von Weber.
You?
Sí.
Oh, right, okay.
Berlin.
You?
Familia.
Oh, wow.
Sí, yo aquí. Pero
Yeah.
más familia, Berlin.
Wow, okay.
Von Weber.
Wow, nice to meet you. Yeah. Pleasure. Absolutely no idea what's going on. Bon voyage.
Bon voyage.
Bon voyage. What a lovely guy. Now, it wasn't all total chaos. I got the opportunity of a lifetime out there. So if you know me, you know that my dream car is a Ferrari 458. And one of the guys that was on the tour, a guy called Tiddu, who was sound, I mean, everyone was sound to be fair, woke up one morning and just said, do you fancy driving the Ferrari up a mountain today? And there's going to be a full video coming out on that, because out of all the places to drive your dream car, up a mountain pass with a sheer drop on one side and not really understanding a car was probably not the best environment to drive it in, but it was absolutely incredible. We got to take it through some tunnels and give it the absolute beans. And I think one thing that stood out on this tour was the tunnels were fantastic. So a little bit of a clip for you here. You're going to love this video, is some of the tunnel runs that we did. Insane. Driving a 458. Throws you into second.
That's in sport mode as well. Wait till you get race. Go on, get a downshift.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, what a car this is.
Oh, mate.
And then out of this tunnel is the end of the road.
So this is the bit we've been waiting for a while. The old tunnel run.
Give it the beans.
I shall do. In other news on that tour, Tim, who is somewhat of a connoisseur of food and wine and all sorts of beverages and just the good life, decided to do a wine review. And bearing in mind, we were incredibly drunk. There was a lot of drinking. It felt like the Northerners were trying to prove a point as to just how much we can drink, because we're men. Here's Tim's wine review.
Hello, and welcome to Tim's Wine Reviews. Here we have a vintage bottle of Verchant from the region of which I cannot make out because it's rather dark and I don't have my glasses. I'll tell you very little about this wine, any of the notes, aromas, or indeed flavours, but what we can all agree on is it tastes like white dog shit. That's all it's bloody fit.
Now I know the weather has been rather fantastic in the UK and the weather out there was, I'd say, mixed at best. So we had both ends of the spectrum on this tour. We had monsoon type rains and then incredibly baking hot sun. So not only was I caught out with my pants down in the rain a few times, I also suffered from a little bit of sunburn, as you can see in these two clips here. Quite opposing, some would say. I paid for a convertible, I'm bloody well using it.
He's northern, mate. He's used to it.
Can we please pull over? Help! Help!
No, we're going to keep going. Sorry, Rob.
You set of Spent a lot of time in there trying to work out what after sun is in Spanish and no one would help me. Let's probably do it then. Ah!
Fine.
Ah!
No, we're not bothered. Behind me.
Ah!
Go to your right.
Oh! El Sudi. I can look behind things up.
Probably in the next.
That's the only bit in sun.
Is there anything else coming, or you're waiting?
Just need some shade. Oh. How?
Your nose is red. I think it's caught a bit of sun.
All right. You've got a head like a peanut.
Don't change the fact that you burnt your nose.
I haven't burnt my nose, it's fine. Tomorrow will be brown. Is it red?
Hello?
Yeah, you've got a map outside yet. There, where your glasses have been. You burnt there, but not in
Yeah,
between.
the license number.
I'm going to pretend not to have heard that. I've actually cut it out.
I'll just try to help you out for Pete's sake.
Oh, thanks for letting me know. It's not good.
Bloody hell, you have caught it, haven't you?
Yeah. That is pretty bad, isn't it? Le British pig. So the biggest thing on that tour, the biggest concern that I had was whether or not this cheap Audi R8 was going to perform. And whilst it was incredible, it was comfortable, the fuel economy wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. This, by the way, they're the fuel receipts, and I'll go through that as well in some detail. 3,500 miles in a V10, not cheap. However, wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but my biggest concern was whether or not this Audi R8 was going to perform, because I'd only owned it for a week. We'd literally just thrown an exhaust on it, and much to my detriment, we hadn't done proper safety checks on that car, and it did, unfortunately, a little bit of a spoiler alert for you, not end well, as you can see in this clip here. Can anybody hear us? We're stuck on the mountain pass. We've had a catastrophic. Can anybody hear us over? Got nothing. That's us done on this trip, mate. For fast driving, that's us done. That's genuinely really scary. Overall, an incredible experience. It is going to turn into undoubtedly a very expensive experience when we get the AA round to properly inspect that car. So when we went away, there are certain things that you need to do. And I decided what I was going to do was, rather than do the vigorous safety checks that anyone in their right mind would do, but to be honest, I didn't expect it to be as hardcore as it was. So I just thought it'd be, you know, gents touring around in nice cars. I didn't do the right safety checks, but what I did do is I bought some AA cover for breakdown in Europe, which was probably a good move in the long run. Now, AA cars are going to be coming around and inspecting that R8 because it is now back here in one piece just about, but there are some pretty expensive problems that have reared their heads on that car. So AA Cars, who obviously sponsor the channel, are going to be coming down and pulling that car into pieces. And I'm going to see whether or not they actually spot all the problems because there's a few. Anyway, a massive thank you to everybody that was involved on that tour. It was genuinely the experience of a lifetime. Obviously, the car dealership has suffered, although Carmora, which is my car buying website, has had its best month to date. I believe we bought and sold 25 cars in a month, which is incredible. The car dealership has suffered because we've not been here to sell cars. The warranty claims haven't stopped, which has been a bit of a headache, but that is just life. So it's all been a little bit of a balance, but a huge thank you to everybody that has been involved in that. And also, crucially, and I'm going to say it now, and you might think I'm a bit of a softie for doing it, but a massive thank you to my missus as well, who has taken care of my beautiful boy, or our beautiful boy, whilst we've been away. And I think all the lads that have been on the tour, so Tim and Alex, have all been the same, which is, it's not often that you get wags that will allow you to just go on a boys working tour and not cause too much of a stink. So huge thank you to the unsung heroes of the tour, the wags. Anyway, big update on that one coming. We have got 3 terabytes of footage to get through, and unfortunately Alex has got a holiday booked, which is very rude of him, but we are going to get through that footage. Ferrari video is coming for you next week. We've made some headway on the 330 Ci because we've got a couple of things we've been doing with that in the background. We had a Tesla that decided it was going to die in the middle of the showroom whilst we were away. So that was the first thing we came back to when we walked back into this showroom back in the UK. So as you can imagine, the next few weeks are going to be fairly chaotic, and I'm going to share it all with you on this channel. If you've not already subscribed, please do. It makes a huge difference. We're trying to get to 100,000 subscribers this year. We're on about 63 or 64,000 as it stands at the moment. So please do click the subscribe button. It really does help, and I shall see you on the next one. Cheers.